What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, if y'all don't mind, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and join the family. As well, leave your thoughts in the comment section, as that's the best part of doing this for me is hear from y'all. Uh, but if y'all don't mind, I greatly appreciate it. Let's get to this work. Because there's this article out there, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to shout out to the big bro Melvin Wall and Man Down Sports. I definitely implore y'all to go swing by his platform and check out his breakdown of this, as I'll be highlighting a few points that he made, breaking down this hit piece, as well as interjecting my own personal commentary. But nonetheless, there's a gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, named Tom Harbastraw. I don't know if I'm a Harbastraw or Habastraw. And, I'm sure y'all heard it by now. He has an article breaking down um, why Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year is, well, for the lack of a better word, he says it should have an asterisk by it. And the reason why is because he says back in the 80s and the 90s, it was very prevalent for home teams to cook the books in favor of their superstars. So, I think the most notable, or the first time we heard something like this, and I did, and I just didn't make a video on it, and I meant to, but first, when we initially heard about this, it was about John Stockton having his stats, his assists, and I believe his steals as well, um, cooked as well, and how they say it would work was if another teammate, knocked the ball away and John Stockton or Michael Jordan at its peak. I do want to just to start off the initial thing with um, if they was cooking the books for Michael Jordan, wouldn't that mean they was cooking the books for everybody else? I mean, it's just that's the natural next question for me. If teams are cooking the books for their home, their superstar player at home, wouldn't that wouldn't be just exclusive to Michael Jordan, would it? That's just to start off with. And again, shout out to Melvin Wall. Big Bro broke this down perfectly. In fact, let me say it like this. He made a great point of mentioning Mark Eaton and I believe it was Alvin Robinson. But I'm gonna use Mark Eaton specifically because Mark Eaton was a very prolific defender himself, much like Michael Jordan. I believe that Mark Eaton also won the Defensive Player of the Year in 1989, the year after Michael Jordan won it. But in 1988, Mark Eaton was the runner-up to win a Defensive Player of the Year. So just using him, Mark Eaton at one point, I think he was averaging like 4 or 5 blocks. Just some um, very phenomenal. And so, it begged me to, it makes me think, was Utah cooking the books for Mark Eaton? I mean, we already know it's on record Utah was cooking the books for John Stockton. And if Tom Harbastraw is correct and the books are being cooked for Michael Jordan, well, we got to go across the board and look at all of the superstars and all of their stats and say, um, it was everybody's cheating, so that makes it an even playing field almost. So this particular asterisk would not be exclusive to Michael Jordan, and especially not to his Defensive Player of the Year award. I next want to make a point of even if Michael Jordan had or didn't have that Defensive Player of the Year award, he would still be the renowned GOAT. Let's just throw that out there. Michael Jordan was no slack on defense. It wasn't as if he didn't have this award, then he still wouldn't be known as an elite defender. That's not the case at all, you know. And then at the end of the day, I think this is all an orchestrated hit from Klutch Sports. Much like I said with the "We Done with LeBron" trend. Um, I feel like that was another orchestrated hit from the Klutch Sports headquarters because it's always an attack on Michael Jordan exclusively. They said we was done with the 90s. Oh, excuse me. Did I say we done with LeBron? That's my thing. I made a remix of it. When they was doing the we done with the 90s, initially it was an attack on the entire old school players, and then somehow even, it got dwindled down to Michael Jordan can't go left. Um, If y'all didn't know, yes, the whole we done with the '90s trend was it sparked the whole LeBron, the whole Michael Jordan can't go left narrative. But outside of all of that, um, it's telling that when these guys do these elaborate hit pieces or these elaborate takes, um, they'll start off saying one thing and then it always ends up as an attack on Michael Jordan. Um, Nonetheless, I just wanted to bring up that because this is crazy, man. This is all crazy. And again, I am a dot connector, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I go off of the evidence that people put out there, and I just put it all together. Tom Haberstraw, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I believe he works with Klutch Sports. And I say that because if you see this tweet that in fact, I believe Fox Sports One. I think it was First Things First, Nick Wright and Chris Broussard's show. I think it was First Things First that retweeted Tom Haberstraw's article, and on the retweet, Tom Haberstraw says, "Thank you for picking up this story." And ends this sentence off with a LOL. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I've ever expressed this to y'all. As adults, we should not be using LOL. Back in high school, when it first came out, using the little acronyms LMAO and all that stuff. Yeah, I was into that, but I'm an adult now. I don't end my sentences with LOL. I'd rather you drop an emoji, and that might not sound more grown up, but preference. But he ends this retweet with an LOL, and it was just telling. It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of a deal, an inside joke kind of a deal, because we all know that Nick Wright is a client of Klutch Sports, and that he has been essentially trying to tear down Michael Jordan since 2016 when he arrived on the mainstream media scene. What I also alarmed me, and I was already aware of this information, that Chris Broussard works with Klutch Sports as well. But Chris Broussard makes a mention, and you see, it was actually what I used for the title of this video. He asked Tom Haberstraw in an interview that he did with him on his show, him and Rob Parker show. I can't recall what it's called right now, The Odd Couple. He asks Tom Haberstraw and starts the whole interview off with this: "What did Klutch Sports and Rich Paul give you to write this hit piece?" You know what I'm saying? Essentially, I might be butchering it up a little bit, but he asked him, "What did Klutch Sports and Rich Paul offer you to write this article?" Apparently, it's a 6,000 word article. This guy said he watched a couple games. I think he watched 6 games, and and I read the article myself, ladies and gentlemen, full of contradictions, but knowing that Chris Broussard is a client of sports. A client of Klutch Sports. Knowing that Nick Wright is a client of Klutch Sports, and seeing how Haberstraw worded this article, I'm just going off my investigative reporting. He has to be a client, or he has at least had to receive a payment from Klutch Sports to write this hit piece, because it all is just a bunch of nothing. Essentially, it's a bunch of nothing. And the number one telltale sign that this was all a bunch of nothing is that in the article, Tom Haberstraw says that he, went out and watched some basketball tape, in which over the course of these, I believe, 6 games that he said he watched, over the course of these 6 games, Michael Jordan was able to accumulate 28 steals. But him watching the games, he only counted 12 or 13, something like that. And I'm not taking nothing. I'm not knocking him or taking him nothing away from him for that. But when you consider that he only watched 6 games and the Chicago Bulls had 41 home games, it's like there's still a great majority of games, 35 games, that you could say no cooking of the books happened. And even if you take those 6 games out of the equation, Michael Jordan's averages, his numbers still would hold up to him being a defensive player of the year. That's when when I read that, that he only watched 6 games out of 41, it kind of set off an alarm. But what really was the telltale sign is that he said that Michael Jordan at home averaged 4 steals. On the road, At home, he averaged 4 steals. On the road, he averaged 2 steals. And he said one game that he watched, Michael Jordan racked up. Oh, he said on the road, Michael Jordan averaged 2 steals. At home, he averaged 4. And there was never, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. He says, Tom Haberstraw in his article, there was never a game where Michael Jordan had 5 or 6 steals, right? He says that, period. And then the very next sentence, he continues on and says he watched a game where the stat sheet said Michael Jordan had 10 steals, but while he was watching the game, here it is, Michael Jordan only got like 5 or 6 steals in that one game he watched. So, you know what I mean? A guy that he's complaining about Michael Jordan's averages, saying that he averaged, double the steals at home than he did on the road. And then he says he never had more than 5 steals. But then the very next sentence, he says, I watched a game where Michael Jordan had 10 steals. And in that game, particularly, he only had 5 or 6 steals. It's like, dude, you just like every other Klutch Sports client, these Klutch Sports media dudes, they contradict themselves and then they keep talking. And I so wish that I could have been on the Odd Couple panel with Chris Broussard, not to check Chris Broussard, that would have been on the list as well, but to just ask these dudes some questions, some investigative questions that I promise you he would have not been able to answer. They just would have been poking holes in this article. And I know you bronze sexuals, come running up on this post talking about, you caping for Jordan. No, man, it's about how LeBron James and Klutch Sports and Rich Paul, these dudes do everything they can to tear down Michael Jordan. Everything. They do every trick in the book except actually go out on the court and produce results that way. You know what I mean? It's just like it's never about LeBron James's skills, talent, and the results of that skills and said talent. It's always a hit piece. It's always some kind of propaganda. It's always something other than LeBron James's actual results on the basketball court. And now with this particular hit piece, they're trying to put an asterisk per se by Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year. And again, like I said in the beginning of this video, even if you take this very wordy, very extensive article, even if you take that article and you say it's all facts and you put it in a frame, that is only a small sample size of what Michael Jordan did that particular season, 1987, 1988, when he won the Defensive Player of the Year. You can't just take 6 games out of the 41 home games Jordan had and say, that's it, in these 6 games, this happened and we got to put an asterisk by it, because it's very simple-minded thinking. And nobody has been running with this article or even running with this propaganda. So to my surprise, not even in the bronze sexuals. I think they see right through it. And also bronze sexuals don't like reading. So I doubt any of them have actually read this entire article. But it's just, to me, man, just one orchestrated hit piece. And then knowing the information that Chris Broussard and Nick Wright are Klutch Sports clients. Of course, they're doing LeBron James's bidding as well. And so they're going to, talk about this article as if it's legit. Nick Wright went on his show talking about this article. And mind you, when Nick Wright was talking about this article on his show, he hadn't even read the article yet. He said that on his show. He said that he didn't read the article yet and that he could appreciate the article because it was unbiased reporting. And hear this out. Nick Wright, of all people, said that he has an appreciation for unbiased reporting, as if this dude don't go on TV every day and say the most outlandish stuff for LeBron James. It's just like, yeah, you're not biased at all, buddy. You know what I mean? But also, slick, as quiet as kept, Nick Wright said something that I called, and I thought it was just very like snake tongue-ish. But this guy essentially said that he didn't read the article, but he may have had something to do with the article behind the scenes. Wink, wink. It's just like, come on, man. These Klutch Sports dudes, they think they're the smartest guys in the room, but their operational strategies are very low IQ. Very low brow, very easy to figure out if you got an IQ above room temperature. LeBron James thinks he's a shrewd operator, and it's just he's not. You know what I mean? So easy to break whatever he has going down. Um, and this is just another point in case of it. If you actually read this article, like I said, I did, not very much, information. It's just a lot of words, essentially, because when you're going for Michael Jordan, man, you got to be right. You got to have your thing. You got to have your game and excuse me, you gotta have your ducks in a row. And shout out to the big bro Melvin Wall once more because he said it perfectly. Once you come for the king, once you go for the throne, you better not miss. And that's just another one of these point cases where they trying to throw rocks at Michael Jordan's proverbial number one status, and they continue to just miss. Because it's not like, even if the people believe this article, right? If people was running with this article, it's like, okay, it's all facts. Let's put it in a frame. It's not like you're gonna change people's mind as far as the GOAT debate. Even without that Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Jordan is a far superior defender than LeBron James ever dreamed he could have been. So um, again, just a very well orchestrated hit piece by Clutch Sports. What did Chris Paul and Clutch Sports offer you, Tom Haberstraw, to write this? Because again, it's another failed attempt, and it'll be brushed under the rug, just like all of the other attempts from Nick Wright, LeBron James, Rich Paul, Clutch Sports. It'll be swept right under the rug, just like all of the other attempts to tear down Michael Jordan and uplift LeBron James. But I just wanted to get my thoughts on it because I kept hearing about this stupid article, so I had to go read it. And like I say, less than impressed with it. That's some reading for you bronzexuals exclusively, although y'all don't like reading. But if you get some time, if you ever get an interest in reading, that article would definitely tickle y'all fancy because it's all of the propaganda that bronzexuals love to hear, a bunch of lies, that they're gonna go running around screaming about on the internet. And again, it's just a bunch of wasted time. Once you know the agenda of Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, and LeBron James. Uh, but that's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel as well. If you have not already, join the fam. Hit that subscribe button, as I like to stay real busy on my platform, always dropping some content one way or the other. Just pull up forward. I think that's everything I got on the list. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.